Sanje Chedan Zoji Chonon La Shache Pada Dano Chapsum Je Dagu Chishe Jebe Tonum Je Dola Benjo Sanje Drabo Jo Sanje Chedan Zoji Chonon La Shache Pada Dano Chapsum Je Dagu Chishe Jebe Tonum Je Dola Benjo Sanje Drabo Jo Sanje Chedan Zoji Chonon Jangchub Bada Dada Japsum Je Dak Chenso Jebe Tonum Je Lola Penja Sanje Drabo Sho. Okay. Good morning again.
Morning, Geshe.
One more time.
Good morning.
One
Good
more
morning.
time. Good morning.
Morning, Geshe.
Good morning. Have some more coffee, more tea, more waters, more juice, more food. Anyway, wonderful. Remember when we closed last year the center? March?
March 11th, was it?
It's March 11th? Yeah. During that time, we say we can do one week. Right? Now, 1 year. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah. That time, people have a lot of thoughts. What happened? What to do? Why? What is what to do? What happened? What can I do? Maybe think, something like very beyond our mind. We also think just maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. I really thought maybe not just, we cannot just close 1 week, close 2 weeks. Takes a couple months, I thought that. But we just first say people just, if you say a couple months, people go, what? Just maybe 1 week, then people, okay. Just more, little bit. But it's happened now, 1 year. Wow. But it's okay, we all married. It's good, If we accept, we can do anything, any kind of situation, we can deal that. If we don't accept the situation, then it doesn't matter, it's good or bad, we don't deal with it. It makes very headache for us, right? Therefore, it's wonderful to also, it's very good things, look like from the COVID, no one can die for our community. Maybe some people got sick, but they're not very serious. It became wonderful. We can really rejoice. We are the one of the luckiest one. And I believe, I'm the, just religions like just my body, speech, mind, all the bloods, my, bone shapes, just religions just go inside that. We believe, those things, or the blessings, or the Bodhisattvas, then our praise, everyone's praise can help that. We believe that, Then we say, it's Bodhisattva that doesn't pray, only the who follow them. It's not like that. Even they pray, if we don't have the faith or trust, it also doesn't work. Like example, we say, usually the sun is very hot, but sun cannot make the fire without between sun and anyway paper or something. The how you call the magnet or the glass?
Magnifying glass?
Yeah, the glass, the sun hit the glass, then the glass hit the ground, they make fire. Therefore, Buddha's blessing that, but our faith also make the connection for Buddha's blessing and puja or praise blessing. Is make the connection and make the blessing and then make the pray puja work. Like that. Tibetan, I don't know, maybe I think all the religion, they have any obstacle, there's some puja, some prayers. It's really work, There's what a lot of things also depends on our prayer or our faith. Therefore, faith is very important in order to get the result, see the result. And therefore, another thing I can say, like India and here in the United States, for everywhere, in Tibetan community also, they got some people got sick, but no one very serious. Some people died, but they already have very, different disease. Then above that, then the COVID makes them to like die, but it's not just pretty low level. Therefore, these things, I think they're our praise, practice, and the blessing for Buddhas, Taras, I think protect for us. It's mixed for more, deep, more strong, more stable faith for our mind. Like that. Okay? Therefore, it's wonderful we have something to do. We have to think, oh, this is a really blessing, or there's something working for the blessing, think that way. So you develop your more faith. So maybe not there, maybe not there, maybe not there. It doesn't work. Okay, then it's same as usual. First, we do 10 minutes to come up body meditation. As always, we have, I think, most same people. We don't have to say all the time again, because morning our minds is very fresh, and then not destroys. Therefore, good to meditation. And then first few minutes to breathing meditation. Because they have some technique. They bring your mind with you. Then always I say, object of the Buddha's image, as you usually what to do, just keep your mind that the mindfulness that not, if you lose, bring back. If you lose, bring back. Try to tight and clear. Is more important, okay? I'm going to start the bell. First time, we start the breathing meditation. Then second time, do come up body meditation, okay? It's good. Or good or bad. Oh, wonderful. This is how to we do every morning. Now, next one is also we do like a little bit, how you say, guiding meditation to the 7-point mind trainings. Yeah. Tạm chí cho gọi. Hallelujah. Yeah, manavashte. Yeah, that thing on the lojon ko de that kind of shagum de cheri das.
So we're going to do a glance meditation on the mind training again for a little while.
아니 담보 바나 데셈바 아니 다단다 운종어 검den가도 따 아니 검지에서 봐야 대조를 당가도 소소고 로종 야포여 체다 아니 소소고 아니 라마당 아니 야담당 상제 선배가 아니 다 진jel라브로치 아니 지가로 신이 바나다 조도 신이 되도 또 봐야 보이게라 제버쇼 삼테스삼 대줄라야 아니다 니지 샹치면서 디조 nendo든지 추단 받으라 다주니가 간체와 마도 발레진의 콜라테 상당 되네 니지 샹치고 셈 콜라야테 삼까 다 되네 되네 용어라 아니 깽애들이 샹나 대야 깽애 대왕의 마도 깽애 샹치람도 줘봐 되지 대주고들라 아니 체치게 되네 그 로종은 냠네 대야 아니 마셔 받아야 아니 냠네 치야지 대주고들라 다 로종을 체스의 가상래 돼 마스 디바라야 저도 빼나 까마가스 삼당다야.
All right, so starting with the visualization of the mirror field, which you have already done, right? And that, so now imagine making a strong request to the Guru, deity, Buddhas that you have visualized to bless you to be able to have the realization of Guru devotion, and then starting with the preparatory practices like the prophet human rebirth, the realizations of the prophet human rebirth, death and impermanence, karmic law of cause and effect, and the disadvantages of the psychic existence. And after that, then you go into the meditation on the actual bodhicitta, generating the actual bodhicitta. And and so we have done already that, right? So many times, so you already know how to do that. And after that, you do the part, taking the adverse conditions into the path to enlightenment. So whatever difficulties you face, not being disappointed or disheartened by that, instead thinking that this is a very good opportunity to overcome the obstacles and to be able to take the sufferings of other beings like that. And then after that, you do the practice to be applied in the whole lifetime, those the 5 powers during the lifetime and during the time of death. And then after that, is the criteria or the measure of having generated bodhicitta. So after that, we have already discussed, right? So after that, just do a meditation for about 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. How's it? It's too short? Okay. Okay. It's good to, every day in the morning, especially the morning, do a little bit of meditation as much as you can. It's good to bring your mind with you. You do continue meditation to every day. It's good for not just one time. And therefore, that's very important. 제가 배나 곰 냠내 치베가 아니 틈질이야. 아니 기시 보드웨샤네다 특제되는 송요래. 배나 아니 소소가 치와 못아바마다 아니 삼치. 아니 된데 치와야나 아니 소소로래다 nga shore samlo yongres. 된데지 삼베 로래나 아니 소소고 드빠뽕알아야. 깔레메가 찬도 그래. 또 송요래. 라, 잠시대요 왜?
I muted myself. So, like Geshe Potawa said, the sign of having practiced, practiced Dharma is when you are able to think about death all the time, thinking that I'm going to die. In the back of your mind, when you are able to think that I'm going to die, then that mind will make you practice Dharma all the time.
아니 대체와나 아니 드빠뽕야라 아니 깔레메가 차그래 아니 개바드발라야 깔레메가 지용 그래 소소마이 말.
And so your mind is motivated to do the practice of Dharma, so you find no difficulties in accumulating merit and no difficulties in doing the practice to purify negativities.
아니 디에다 아니 샴니제마도 곰바이나 근데 샴니제 gel라 제바이나 아니 샘진제 된셔발라 아니 깔레체니 맹이 샤도 그래 소소마이 그래.
So and then on top of that, if you meditate on loving kindness, compassion, and continuously, then you will find no difficulties to work for the benefit of other sentient beings.
다나지게 대된데야 아니 똥반지 달라서 뭐대 스타트와이나 아니 수수가 샘 쳐와뽕알아야 깔레메가 차도 그래 오 도수동요.
And on top of that, if one is able to meditate on emptiness, then it will be no difficult to abandon the misconceptions.
단데도 로정거 담가드나 로정거 담가드 트뉴뉴지 내가 주주 보는 방법이요.
So these are the instructions of the mind training, very powerful, very short and powerful.
다나시게야 좀 덤발아야 아니 간디시와 말이스. 다음 좀 덤베 개주도 좋다. 다 간들 아니 지금 상제라 지금 다 간지 제거야 마부 슈진도 다 제거 노독도 가르레스. 아니 게 간디시와 말이.
And likewise, some of the disciples of Domdamba asked him, "What is the the summarized practice? There are so many practices. So, what is the summarized practice for achieving enlightenment?"
다 된데가 알아서 줄라 찌 고야기, 만족을 로종 검 고야기 다 몇탐에 제타가 찌기 어려워서 어떤 데까지도 와.
So they asked, if there is something like one thing, that they can all do, all can practice.
근데 요레스 텔 찌요레스 찌드 가르나 아니 돈이 니지 니보체레스 오도 돈이 니지 니보체레스 소마이 말.
And he said, yes, there is one thing, and that is the essence of the emptiness and compassion.
다 원한테 가르나 아니 돈이 니지 니보체서 가르나 아니 추 탐치지 라지 내룩 또베 내룩 또 받달라야 아니 또베 대남 샤지고 샘 대치레스.
And he said that that is the essence of emptiness and compassion. So seeing all things as being an empty of inherent existence is the ultimate bodhicitta.
아니 딘리게 아니 누부 내루 마토베 강사라야 아니 샴바당 이제 샹치고 셈께데 지그레스 다 조도 간지 샹치고 셈께데 지그레스 어to 송한 바
간 닝제 돈이 마도 강사길라.
돈이 마토베 강사라 아니 니제 째야 돼 어나 야무나 샹치고 셈께야 돼 너희 시도 샹치고 셈라 간지 샹치고 셈께야 돼레스 어to 송한 바
그래서 닝 가서
돈이 마토베 바 당누부 내루 신청말로 마토베 강사라 아니 다 간지 텔라 때네 다 아니 샴니제 야 컴퓨터 따야 되레스
다 돈이 마도 강사들라 닝제 개고르스거라.
어들 니제 그랬어
달라 닝제 개고르스. So you have to generate compassion and loving kindness towards those beings who have not realized emptiness.
어찌 대자 다 든지지 제와였나 아니 저랑 태워 전부 그 냠래 바차네 샹지고서 맞게바 깨와 만년바 맞을 고네 배워야지 하는 야도 곰고 그랬어
And he said then if you do like that, then you become a Mahayana practitioner, and you will generate bodhicitta if you have not, and if you have generated, and it will increase further and furthermore.
다 원하 든지기 냠래나 다 든지기 냠래데 영화를 지금 탑런도 가려요 그랬어 탑 가렸던 거 그랬어 어두시도 많이 봐
And then they ask what kind of method are there for generating such kind of practice.
델로 또 숨요 그랬어
And he says mainly there are three methods.
아니 로종아직 아니 초사바니 아니 띵인데 곰바게 섬도요 그랬어
He said meditate and as training the mind and meditating on concentration and then accumulating merit. Those are the three things.
알아 어디지 다 원래 디나게 담보 로종도나 가르라 그래 로종도나 가르라 그러잖아 저거 맞다 곰바 샴니제 곰바 아니 돈이 곰바들레스 어떻게 소만 말
And then on the first one, the mind training. What is the mind training? The mind training is meditating on emptiness, meditating on loving kindness and compassion, and meditating on the death and impermanence.
오케이 다들 너도 로종나 가르래 저거 맞다 곰바들레스 단동아 동년도 되지 최단 바서 저거 맞다 곰바들레요
And so what is the essence or the summarized practice of mind training? It is the meditation on death and impermanence.
이거 제자 안에 되지 아니 샴니제 곰바 생각도 되냐다 샹치고섬 곰바들 마 용거요
And then meditating on loving kindness and compassion, followed by bodhicitta.
아니 다 나진 게다 담에 곰바세 되 거저다 대남 샹치 곰바데 용거요래
And then meditating on the selflessness or emptiness, which is the ultimate bodhicitta.
어다 로종 세대 데레스 로종 세대 저와 마타바 곰바 샴니제 곰바 아토니 곰바 데섬레스 디나 투두고다 되가 다시 디바라로 고래
So that is what the mind training is. What is the mind training practice? If somebody asks you what is mind training practice, then you can just say that is the mind training practice. Meditating on death and impermanence, meditating on loving kindness, compassion, and meditating on the selflessness or emptiness.
제자 로종 오건라 뭐라 뭐라 티 도도체나 간지 디나 튼디데요 레스와
And there are so many the detailed teachings on mind training, so they can be all, but this all can be summarized into these three.
다 되네 로종 왔지 근데 초사라야 돼 초사라나 갈라 그래스라바나 초사야 돼 아니지 소소가 대배 열라야 꼰조그 신라야 줘봐야 되지 그래스
And then so that's the mind training. So what is accumulating merit? So the accumulating merit is making offerings to the to the merit field or the object of one's faith and worship.
아니 버 겐들 아니 것이 받으레스
And then making offerings to the sanghas.
아니 다말 아니지 방고라 짐바동아래 어때 됐음데 초사세데 디나데 그래 송한 말
And practicing generosity towards the needies, those who are in need of food and so forth. So those are the three ways of accumulating merit.
아디 코 시다 초사야기 차레 mambo 지여다나 다 사마티 도치나 디나산디데레스.
So there are many ways you can accumulate merit, but if you summarize all of them, then they can be all summarized into these three ways of accumulating the merit.
가래 초가제 사와나 대 초가제 사와 탐지 저와티 바라 장도 거다. 저와코 바지 초사 접자생도 초가제 사와 탐지 대 독쇼라 저와팜 장도 거. 빼차와나 아니 니마 가제 사와 탐지 아니 강한코다 가제 장외가 레자도 코만 냠도 그러고 대소로 그러.
And so the more accumulation of the merit you do, and then the more the purification of the negativities you will do also. So these are these two contrary things, right? So opposite things. So when you accumulate merit, then you purify the negativities. So that's just like when the day becomes hotter, and then a day and a cold day becomes less and less. When the hot day becomes more and more, then cold day becomes less. So the cold just becomes less, because of the opposite attraction, right?
어지 다 되지 다 띵이도 검사 다 원하 띵이도 거는 가르레세 라바이나 아니 조데 소수 무게 접은 거 트름송마디 지그레스.
Then meditating on concentration. What is the meditating on concentration? So that would be the one of it would be observing the morality of abandoning the 10 and virtuous actions.
제다 코 켈레 연하면 간지 소수 링아 옆서 무게 접고 샤마도 만도가 대 당보듯이.
So whether you have made a commitment or not, making sure that your body, speech, and mind doesn't fall into the 10 and virtuous actions.
아니 다 된대게 냠내 야보 영화 제다 아니 뒤젠데야 아니 소수고 지기다 간지 라다 라마라 소바데베데레스.
And then for those practices to be good, always making a strong supplication to the Guru deities all the time.
아니 드네 제네 아니 소수 링아 예습선데 소수고 다보자야 돼. 어때지 그래서 됐음라야 다 띵도 곰세도 고쳐 그래서.
And then also guarding one's body, speech, and mind all the time. Protecting or guarding one's mind, body, speech, and mind all the time. So those are the three meditation on concentration.
Okay, 다 로조나 고송아. 시당 잡았음. 아니 대레레라 아니 숨숨 주고 로래도.
So now you understand what is the mind training, right? So the mind training has those like three roots, and then each root has three like branches.
뭐 제다 다 디나 차상 디다 다 로종사 디나 디데도.
So the mind training all the mind training is included in that.
다 든조 아니 단대ኛ라 돈이 니지 니모체 jel라체다. 오다 디 간지 된담 샹침 지삼다 군조 샹제고 셈 jel라체기 다죠. 서가나면도 탑시 서가나면 돼 말이.
So like you said earlier, the essence of compassion and emptiness. So that is this is all included in that, and that's like the method or cause for generating bodhicitta.
다 제다 도치는 냠내 제발라 때네. 아니 소수질라 던덤 샹지고 셈데 가디 제와나 신앙 그 추탐쮸 아니 간지 랑군의 집에 동와 오다 똑똑요 레스와 대또와나 아니 수수가 셈들 로데오 간지 차로다 간지 로데오 셈발라 간지 내님 제레스 어디였다.
So when you have meditated on the ultimate bodhicitta by seeing all things as being empty of existing from their one side or inherently, then your mind becomes very relaxed and peaceful.
어지 대지 다대 대것이 다도 전에 아니 군조 샤적의 셈데 가디 질라 아니 샤적의 제와나 수수의 제세 참조 수수의 내가 제와 참아 셈지 연게 다다마서 아니 다 제명하고 차는 그래서 제 먹음이라고 차는 그래서.
And then when you have generated the conventional bodhicitta, then anything that you do becomes a welfare for others. So then you will not want to do anything that is not beneficial for others.
Okay. 어제 제장 안에 된지게 군도 샤지고 셈다 된도 샤지고 셈 소주절에 제와이나 소주를 내가 가리지 제와이나 셈쟁이 된다. 대 제와라 아니 깔매게 자고 그래서 다들 그 냠내가 너무 거다.
And so when you have generated this kind of ultimate bodhicitta and conventional bodhicitta, then whatever you do will all become beneficial for others. And you find you'll experience no difficulties to do anything for others.
어다 된지게 아니 돈도 샤지고 셈다 군도 샤지고 셈 곰발라 때니 아니 다르 아니 다 zukadan 아니 다 그러고 추거 다 덮그래서
And then by meditating on these two bodhicittas, ultimate bodhicitta and conventional bodhicitta, eventually or finally when we achieve the two bodies of the Buddha, the truth body and the form body of the Buddha.
어다 대다 로종 냠내마 제단 것이 고름도 오지 고름다 듬전도 다다 용도 대 고도로지 돼.
So that is the way to meditate, or do the practice of the mind training, and the results of having done the mind training practice. So is that something convenient for you to understand?
된도 샤지고 셈질라 제와나 소수질라 가지 로데오 가지 셈지메가 차로 그래서 셈초대바티. 군도 샤지고 셈질라 제와나 소수 제세 담주 셈지 제게 된다 임바. 대 제와라 까세메가 차 그래서.
So if you develop the ultimate bodhicitta, then your mind will be very relaxed, very peaceful. And if you generate the conventional bodhicitta, then everything that you do becomes a welfare for the others, and you will find no difficulties to work for the benefit of others.
Okay, 다들 그 도도로 제도송하셔도.
So is that something that's like short for you to be able to understand?
그리고 다 대가상도 다 가상도 로종 걸 마시면 다 대리말 로종 배자랑 날 마치는 거야. 다 가다 쉬면 봐. 간제 아니 수수가 링아 개와 제세대야. 수두지 나한테만 추는 로약이 아니 차진도 로드나 네 수두지 로종 또 바지 개가 따레스.
So like now if you go back to the actual text, the liberation in the palm of your hand, it is that the criteria having trained the mind, is if one's delusions, like grasping at the true existence, the self, the grasping at the inherence, and so forth, if those kind of delusions, if it becomes less, then that's the mind, that's the sign of having trained the mind.
더 나아진 게 신앙 그 띵에라고 하더니 가래이 쇼와이나 되글로 만투와시 단도도 지 아니 지 소수가 로종 체계 바뀌는데 봐 저쪽으로 해서 몇가지 셈 만투와시 쇼나 어때야 로종 스테치그레스.
And also whatever kind of conditions you face, whether it's a favorable or unfavorable, if it doesn't cause any disturbance to your mind, and then that's also another criteria of having trained the mind.
Okay, that's it.
So what do you think? Are you seeing any signs of having trained your mind?
제장 안에 산지 좀 된데 그 추지 봉보 젠트지도 손바 참아 가르쳐 드렸나? 만두지지 안에 샘고 있다 뉴모 추로 다야기 아니 다 락차로 그래 들어.
So all these teachings that Buddha taught, like 84,000 heaps of doctrine that Buddha taught, is to reduce the delusions in our mind.
다 추념을 봐 인다 명게 산삼도요. 삼도야 녀모녀모 로드나 추 녀모녀모 로드나 다추 다다요고요 말이스.
So the borderline of the dharma practice and not dharma practice is if the delusions are becoming less or not. If by doing that practice, if your delusion becomes less, then that is a dharma practice. And by doing that, if the delusion doesn't become less, then that's not dharma practice, no matter what you do.
다 나지게 다 저와토 나도 저와토 맞으세요. 또 봐야 돼. 대야 토마토 셔대. 너무 주는 거는 저와토비 따래. They told me what any number of person to Chenan Chomanako, the Hansa Skeo Mares, or that Lojong Yamnichina, the small tuition.
So, what kind of, oh no, whether you have developed any kind of realization or not, that depends on whether you have reduced the delusions, from your mind or not. If your mind, if you have not reduced any kind of delusions, from your mind, then even if you're able to do other things, that is not the sign, of having trained the mind or having practiced Dharma, like being able to fly in the sky or sink in the ground and so forth. And even if you're able to do that, but if your delusion is not decreased, then that's not the sign of having gained any realizations.
제가 시우도서 남람 푼다고 그래. 야도 천한다고 그래. 그러나서 내션으로 다래서 거대 믹스에다 하세도 끼어 말했다. 뉴모 총dom으로 로종 제염에 따대래. 저와 통임에 따대래. 또바질라 제염에 따대래서.
So, like even the birds can fly in the sky, right? And the fishes can, swim in the water. So, being able to do that is not the sign of having developed any realizations.
제가 따뜻히 가상한테 슈슈래 봐. 아니 지금 지대 추진으로 오더니 아니 미 슐로라 시단데 딱 고야지들에다 임바이나야. 간지 지대 미 셴바가 야본도야게 제대로. 그놈 때문에 걔네 아니 슐로네 지 라차자 제와드미드 말이 슐로네 강 제와드는 난가 또반 여바지고 그래서 어떤 말씀을 봐.
And so, like it is said in the text here also that you should not follow the eight worldly concerns. Even if you don't have any realization inside, but externally you're pretending to have all these realizations, or being so subdued and humble, and but inside not having that's that's not the correct way to do. You should show if you should have the humbleness inside, and that will bring the humbleness outside by itself.
다들 된다들랑 간도야 배제 투용데 니제 오셔다 니잖아 또아치나 도가 오셔 야보셔다지 jar로네 주바자도 되는 많이 받고 그래서.
It's like when you're facing the person, then you say, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. It's so glad I can see you," and all these things. But in the back, then you say all the bad things about that person. It's not like that.
이제 다 안에 수수 신학 셔다 나게 안에 그죠 안에 작배 땀다 년자가 지서 만들어 쟤네 또 소소 랑가라야 어 당같이 간지 소소 도파메 와시 안에 소소 마티와지고 그래서.
And so whether it's the internal thought or the external action behavior, it should not be sullied by the eight worldly concerns. Not doing it, not like acting in a very nice way, or behaving in a nice way so that people will praise you. And so if you do that, then that's not Dharma practice.
대연은 안에 예된 바시 전도 땡에서지 다 로종 따뜻 강하다. 다 디가르나 가디나 아니 지금 가로 초시야 보고 그래서 대단다 조다 대리 초시 공부 그래서.
So and then also we should always practice contentment. Should always be content with what we have.
근데 초시에 대 소소 강 요가 될래야. 어르탄티지. 아니 배제 땅지 가고 공부 그래서. 매바지 짱짱 요약 탑시전에 샘티체 마디 같아 그래서.
So the contentment is being pleased with what one has, and appreciating what one has, and just using that and rejoicing over that, and not instead of that, not like seeking more and more, which are not really necessary for us.
촉시바서야 돼. 아니 가르고 소소 강 요와티게 배제야 보통 될래야 어르탄스야들 촉시바서. 너가 좋아서 돼. 아니 소소라 매와지 소소라 마왕아지 소소라 톱당 매와지 아무나 소소 니바 매와지 장 샘티체 마데서 그거는 되기도.
So the contentment and less desire. The contentment is like I said, appreciating with what one has, and rejoicing and using that, and then having less desire is not reaching out for something that is not necessary and that we don't deserve.
Okay. 단도도 신의 곰잡 삼로 땅거든. 다 콜로 정거 따든도 저 삼로 땅거 요아버와.
So these are the things that you have to like contemplate gradually, one by one, like that.
대제 도치는 안에 곰잡아는 안에 그 갈래 로로 곰로네. 간지 깔리명이 차로 요래.
And so if one practices in this way, then one will be more and more familiar with that, and then it will become less and less hard to do these practices.
제가 배는도나 용도 배는 좋아서 쇼나 안에 야문나 때 배와 야문나 때 송화가 남도 mambo 지는 소소 임메대와 용거래. 스타딩 간도래와 소소라 지금 간지 벤조 간지 지지 여바나 양 대지 송조체하고 셈치 아 대라도 셈치 야 세만 남도 자자 전에 되게 그래.
So then you should not be be worrying all the time when you are well off or rich and you have lots of properties. Then that's people always think that, oh, I might lose that, or somebody might steal it, and so forth. Like thinking, always worrying about that. So, and as a Dharma practitioner, one should not have that kind of concern and worry about the possessions one has. Otherwise, like if the regular people like ourselves, we always have problems whether we have it or not. If we have a problem of having it. If we don't have, then we have a problem of not having it.
간지 된도 요와다 소소 강 요와들라 땅지 아니 배제 야고땅 오다 다 대치드나 야보인 거.
And so just being content with what one has, appreciating one's the things that one has, and just using it properly.
오다 간지 소소 강 요와 대가 아니 지금 되게 초시 받지 아니 가로 너가 되게 참 받지 아니 아직 소소로 마와 야만 된디장자가 가디나 샘티체 마도지 아니 초시 받지 소소 로데 아니 가로 지대 추제의 정화도 만들어지 가디나 곰토와나 다 로종 냠내지와 연구여로와.
And so like that, if one is content, if one is able to be content with what one has, and not have all these desires, to have more and more things, then one has practiced. One is practicing the mind training.
그렇죠? 제자다 아니 변나 로종고 텔라변나 연주집에 텔라변나 천대 나제 고바다 아니 심해 나제 도바서 남주 두드려 봐 두소 소마 나진기 아니 고베 분소라 아니 이미 끄지도요 뭐 제생감도 어떤 조와 나진기 다 로종에 따라야 아니 곧 답침부 만다와 나고도 송고요래야.
So just like there is the criteria of having generated the renunciation, is not being attached, to the samsaric perfections or samsaric pleasures, and always, not being attached, to any of the things in this life, and also, to the things in the future lives. So like that, there are 5 criteria, of having trained the mind.
아니 소소다 동아다 노바도 쇼와이나야 아니 지금 놈뭐 예매대와 맞지 다 조발한입이 까투바침 보고 그래서 까투바침 보스.
And so the one of these sign on a criteria is that whenever one faces difficulties, not being disappointed, and develop other kind of delusions, and instead be able to forbear all those difficulties.
다 나아진 게 아니 답에 제ban 준비야 아니 삼바침보서 지고 그래서.
And likewise, should have a great mind that cherishes others more than oneself.
아니 쇼놈 건데 추슈지 냠rel라 아니 만다비까지 냠rel라 내비가 아니 개종 첨보이고 그래서.
And also should be always very virtuous, always practicing dharma, and not engaging in any practice in any action that is not dharma.
아니 디바메게와 참모장 마크와 아니 능선마 첨보이고 그래서.
And then also one should be a very disciplined person who is not tainted by any kind of non-virtuous actions.
다 나중에 태화 친구 다 람나바 다바 냠슬랭게 난조바 친구 다 든데지 제타와나 다 오늘 로종은 냠네 집에 곧 닦아로 레번도 통과래.
And then be a great practitioner of the Mahayana path. So if one have all these criteria, then one is one have trained the mind well.
아 간지 고도 오잖아. 놈모서 가리셔와나 아니 수수 셈 맞추었지 대통령이 직지.
So in short, not be disturbed by any kind of delusions.
그러와. 아니 라다 제니가 또 받기 니 받지.
And secondly, regard or and cherish others more than oneself.
아니 두 가디에나 아니 수수가 셈데 다 추도 맞아와줘야 돼. 아니 손받지.
And not separating, one's mind, from the Dharma. That's the third one.
아니 소수링아 옆선데 먹게지고 영원도 만들어 저와나 아니 눈좀 봐서 되잖아 그래서.
And then making sure that one's the body, speech, and mind doesn't follow the non-virtuous actions or delusions.
아니 직대 주조도 만들게 아니 소수고 링아였던 냠내 제다와이나 아니 대화주마다 대화중부네 남조 봐서 자기요래.
And being able to practice without being tainted by the eight worldly concern, and that becomes the Mahayana practitioner.
근데 저도 다 지난주에 로종거 똑같게 따래.
So if you are able to do this, then that's the sign of having trained your mind.
제가 다 가상 거면 다 몸보서도 다 전소지를 따드는데.
And so that's the criteria or the measure of having trained your mind, having generated the mind training realization. So do you see any of those signs in your mind?
A little bit. Sometimes when you're happy, you have read. When you're difficult, then just forgot. 뭐 제가 아니 단계 손소 누수 곰자와나 콧도박하나다 지까지 로드 깨는 거예요, 간지.
So like that, if you keep on meditating, then eventually, you gain the realizations.
간지 지라서 단계 아니 돈반이 또 봐야나 아니 소수가 샘지대 매와 차도 그래서 간지 샘가데데 연거래서 송송하다.
So like you said earlier, that when you realize emptiness, you will have no worries and your mind will be like kind of relaxed and happy all the time.
아니 샘지 얘기 대셔발라 깔래요 말이스.
And you will have no difficulties to work for the benefit of others.
아니 개와 셔발라야 깔래요 말이스.
And you will have no difficulties, no hardships to engage in virtuous actions.
어제 두두두마 송송아 제다 아니 더 내가래도.
So those are said in the text, so that's a very important.
제다 단계양 단다 가래. 아니 기시포도베 약속이 송나서 와도 빼 등윤유체 아니 내가 좀 버려도.
And just like the word I mentioned earlier about Geshe Potawa, those are very short and very important messages.
그러와 처음부터 배고를 삼았던 와이나 간지 소수질라 양행주로 깨는 거래. 아니 득바바나 깔레메가 찬도 그래서.
And so if you contemplate on death and impermanence, you will be able to develop a renunciation. Will find no difficulties to give up on the things for these and future lives.
제가 단도 간지 로종고 빼나 로종고 나라야 로종고 빼자도 마보요래. 제가 샴니제 마도 곰바이나 대절라체나 샘제게 대셔발라 아니 깔레메바지 연거래서.
Those are many teachings on the mind training. So like if you generate loving kindness, compassion, then you have no difficulties to work for the benefit of others.
Okay. How's it? It makes sense? 다 소소지라 단다 내일 맞춰야 주도 야부 로쇼와 로종의 세세대 야부 다쇼스. 단에 다 소소지라 텐둠도 따고다.
And so go through all this detailed explanation that's given in the text about the criteria of having trained the mind, and see if you have any of those criteria or not.
내가 첨부 지식이 온다 보나. 당가도 코로라고 사와지. 양한테 삼로 땅에 코로 마셔야 여러고.
So, for
music
example,
no hope the music chewaina ko karo samotana ko koro the masa kalechero te mai baji samlo madana ko koro sai gorwa tende gores kanje samlo madane kondu wanda maro gores kaptu ko chenge chomaina.
So like, somebody does something, unexpectedly or something that you didn't wish for, and then you become angry immediately, right? And then after that, then you think, oh no, maybe I don't think he did it intentionally. Maybe he did it, and so by thinking after something, then you say, oh no, that's not good, to be angry, and then your anger subsides. So you have to think about it, to not have anger towards that person, right? So not like that, without even having to think, and not having anger at all from the beginning, is a mind training sign.
When the person is semi de kablaya michiya chana tu dubai labayina ani kondo malabayina ta tid kowaji tid tenda kowaji ani kondo malabayina ani ta cholojong to bagaru yores.
And so if you are not thinking about that, and your mind is distracted with something else, and suddenly somebody says something bad, you can hear that, you can sense that, but then you don't become angry. Oh yeah, you don't become angry. Then that's the sign of having trained your mind.
So you
have to understand what he's saying, right? If you didn't understand that, of course you will not be angry. You have to understand. You have to hear, and you have to understand, and then while having understood and heard, if you don't get angry, then that's the sign of having trained your mind.
Novi comes to the Tarimo de the Pasha Tuamara, Chezako, Susu Nagaji, Dalek Kakayor, Cheza and Kambadare and Lasala Yayone, that Kambege, to do other day, Lesa Milana, Lesa me call man, a cook emotion de call him, you to do a janjalagior.
So like in Tibet, there are different dialects, right? So different regions have different dialects. So people from this central region will not understand the dialects of the people from the eastern region. And so like the Khampas, they have different dialects. So people in the Lhasa will not understand that language, right? So that dialects, or they will not. So if the Khampa person is angry and then says bad words to the Lhasa person, and Lhasa person will not understand, and they will just laugh. So no, it's not like that. It should not be like that.
제가 배낭 안조 다 저도 100개씩면 안조 배회 건데 두어도 저도 동반들라나 저도 무슨 토제 말까 고기 말아 봐.
So so just like that, if some of you don't understand Tibetan, right? You don't understand Tibetan. So if some Tibetan person comes right in front of you and says so many bad words to you, you don't understand, so it doesn't affect you.
제가 아니 인지 미싱 하솔라야 인지 건데 두어들라나 코 봐주 토제 말. 그 뜻에서 갈라가 신거 말아.
So just like that, some Tibetans who don't understand English, if the English person comes and says bad words to the Tibetan who don't understand English, then he doesn't get any bad feelings.
제가 민망한 인지 장하로는 담보 I'm ugly, I'm stupid. 근데까지 누가 자실라 너 라도 더 대봐.
So when I was studying English at the beginning, I didn't know these words, so I kept on saying I'm stupid, I'm stupid.
I'm ugly. Yeah.
I'm stupid, I'm ugly, like that.
제가 안에 드니트야 지제도 가도 남나야 또 누워서다 가르치 내려서 가나 투 따도 대나타다 고여로 와.
And so, but the Westerners will not will get a feeling if they say like that, right? So they will come and tell me, oh, you shouldn't say you're ugly yourself.
제가 안에 빼자는 람름람름을 해요 배나 세미디베 갑 제지게 팅엠바 마와 나스 동보 토와 제지 신의 템베 선바나 토와 신도와 예시 론 조에는 세미나가 다 나도 담보 템바 실라만 안 사오다는 고마시거라 다 로야부 장하나 세미디베 깔라바 있나야 코니 소스케 제가 말해서 된다 하고 요래 이만한 코디 콘로사기 말 드니 쇼와나다 로쇼 따다 용거거든.
So like it is said in the text here, so even when somebody says something while you are distracted, but you have to understand that, of course, you have to hear and you have to understand, and that doesn't affect you, that doesn't affect you, then that's the sign of having trained your mind. If you're thinking about that, then you're already thinking, right? You're paying attention to that. You're thinking, yeah, it's just that, and I should not get angry like that. You're already thinking, and then at that time, if you're able to not get angry, then that's not the sign. While not thinking about that, while you're distracted with other things, when you hear somebody say and bad things and you understand that, and on top of that, and despite that, if you don't get angry, then that is the sign of having trained your mind.
Okay. 제가 전화도 로종 그 세대 야보지 장셔 되는 바 자상전에 리모 마보는 되는 간동가 카 노동으로 가져 라인 바 저절은 다 소소지라 된 두dum도 따야 돼. 고로 요즘에는 가도 주도 말이야. 그게 요즘에는 대강도 주도 말이야. 나랑 되나 가세도 나 뒤볼에 속이 돼. 됐다야 돼.
And so yeah, read through that whole part on the criteria of having trained the mind, and see whether you have that or not. You don't have to check whether others have or not. That's not your business. So that's not important for you. What is important for you is to check whether you have that in your mind or not.
내가 안에 삼바치 뭔가세는 너 내가도 가지 등하다 안에 소소 내와든데 쇼와이나 소소 그샘 만추와치니 대라 조토와이나 등하 달리지 조바세지와 오다 쭉가도 붙여 버레스 안에 조바다 가투메 에로가로 로 어디 나도 등하 달리지 조바다 이모도와.
And then here it talks about the 5 great minds, right? So one of them is a great hardship mind. The hardship is like able to bear the hardship, great hardship. Like when you feel unhappy or suffering, and somebody says something bad to you, you get your bad feeling, not being affected by that, but instead of being able to take that. So that's like the patience, voluntarily accepting the suffering.
아니 다랑다 제니가 또 제존데 소소질라 셈바지오나 아니 다 셈바친 보세 용거를 가지 산 냠데 레고도.
Then the second one is like the great mind. So it's like if you have the mind or thought that cherishes others more than oneself, and that's the great mind.
아니 다 노베캅 냐요가 가데예나야나 아니 수술링하였는데 간지 추도 마타와지 좋아했나? 다 냠렘바 개종어치 보자야 된 거래.
And then the next one is the great practitioner. So it's like if you're able to not separate from Dharma practice, whether you are sleeping, walking, or whatever you're doing at all the times, if you're able to not separate from Dharma practice, then that's a great practitioner.
And 하고전데 수수 안에 링하여서 먹겠지 뭐 양화라 만들어왔지 먹겠지 같으면 야보소도 나다 눈좀 받침 본다 완전 봐야 돼. 눈좀 받침 보서도 다니자도.
And so then if you are able to control your mind, from following the delusions or the non-virtuous actions intentionally, and then you are a great disciplinarian.
아니 지대 지제도 만들에 냠내 제동이잖아. 아니 대화 준비 남나만 냠들에 난조 받침보 세됐다. 송교사래.
And then if you are able to do the practice without being tainted by the 8 worldly concerns, then you are the great practitioner of the Mahayana path.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, Bob.
Earlier when you said in terms of contentment, not looking for more, or also added not looking for things you don't deserve. I wasn't quite sure of the meaning of deserve there, and I was wondering, does it mean not seeking things, like if you had the karma to receive it, you would receive it. If you don't have the karma, that's not trying to get it anyways.
즉 소소라 매바 다 소소라 톱도 매바 근데 즉 니아 탑지 제반세로다 도준 초시 맞아봐지 소소라 톱도 매바 소소라 매바 즉 니아 탑지 제반세 제 니아 탑지 오세요라 소소라 톱도 매바세 다디스 돈에 가라다 나도라 다 토백이 레 매바세로다 레에나 소토브라 레메나 도마라
제가 다 톱담에서 가려고 돼. 간지 소소 매와시. 다 그산들 들어 대 용화가 라야가 레 매와시. 제가 간지 깔리 가서 좀 요거 말어. 제가 듣는 소리 그러.
야
간지 맞아. 가시 온다. 가시 깔리 가서 좀 저는 레치는 명이도. 가시 깔리 지나 잡는 거 레야 되게 친도. 신나 깔리 잡도 고거다. 야 깔리 맞아 라고 맞다 친도.
Yeah, so of course, in Dharma, when we talk about whether you deserve it or not, depends on whether you have created karma. If you have not created karma, then you don't deserve it. You will not get it. You don't deserve it. But if you have created karma, you deserve it. But then again, it depends on the other many factors, right? To get it. So even if you have the karma, if you don't, create the condition for that, maybe you will not be able to, get it.
제가 양 저도 소소 배나 또그 담고시다. 깔리 자요 뭐 대고요 말다.
So of course, you have to, apply the condition. You might have created the karma, but you have to create the condition also. And so that would be like working, working hard, making effort to get the thing. So if you need something, then you have to make effort. Doesn't mean that you should not work hard for those things. You should work hard.
제가 나 간바 보내줘요. 내가로. 제가 아니 양도도 양 고아로 시험하다. 맞아. 배나 너시 초지 시험 참말아야 아니 소소고 배나 초디고 텐디가 또그 담좀 제가 말을 이렇게 고고요 말이.
So again, I mean, of course, you should not misunderstand when you say you should be content with what you have. Doesn't mean that you should not work hard, to pay off your mortgage. or if you have something that you need for this life, of course, you have to work hard on that. You shouldn't say, oh, I should not be, I should be content and just be lazy like that. Then that's not what it means. So you have to understand that.
제가 배나가 쇼게 너와 고마졌네. 커피 통 로고. 다 꽃남시 가되잖아. 그 커피 통고도 고마까지잖아. 고마전 로고 그래서 말로나 소 커피 로게 말어.
It's just like I like to drink coffee in the morning. And go, I walk all the way to the, to the Dunkin' Donut to go to coffee. So even if it's very cold, I still walk. So if I don't walk, I won't get the coffee. So the coffee will not come to me. So I have to work hard and I have to walk.
이번에 같은 로얄 샘 강이요 말. 가는 소소 가지 도진 도요. 완전 소소를 피 거에서 샘 가르쳐 줘 맞다. 드니라고 이거 당에 내가 약볼 라고 말다야.
So so because I like to drink coffee, so even if it's difficult, if it is cold, I don't find it difficult, and I don't feel it difficult. So that's how you should feel. Of course, this is not example for the Dharma practice, but like that. For Dharma practice, you should also find, you should feel no difficulties to do that, because you see the benefit. You want to do it like that.
Okay. 제가 너도 라이도 시당 소소 깔리 잡나 미카지 요하면도 깔리 가스배나 파마제 부근이나 부근이 밤에는 로종 집에 치잖아. 부근 집에 람로쳐 부근 집 람로 명들은 가서 직땡 토사 마모 용도 와. 대소 소소를 내지. 근데 다 깨나 나올래 그러와.
So the main thing is, of course, whether you have created the karma or not. If you have not created karma, no matter how hard you work, then you won't get it. But if you have created karma, and if you don't work hard, then also you won't get it. So if you have created karma and you work hard, then you will get it. So it depends on that. So like even among the siblings, they are born in the same family, raised in the same way, given all the facilities in the same way, but some are able to do good, some are not able to do good. That's because one has created karma and one doesn't have the karma.
제당이다는 빼야 빼야다. 배나가 쇼게데 커피 돈도는 다 데린 남시 드라몬도 다 나라 레오나 커피 라고 말하나 라고 말도 되나 디 소주는 진짜 말하나 라고 말어왔어. 가지 아무도 미치라 키쇼 라고 그래. 아무도 소주 그래. 지금 마치네 콜 레이 사샤 요와이나 코테 게임 말하는 저거 말어와.
So like I like to drink coffee in the morning, but this is so cold, so I said, I just sit there and say, if I have a karma, then I will get the coffee. If I don't have a karma, I won't get the coffee. If I sit like that, then even if I have a karma, I won't get it, right? Either I have to go there myself or ask somebody else to bring for me. Otherwise, even if I have a karma to drink coffee, I will not get the coffee.
제대로 간도다 홀풀 그때나 감나 요가페 내다 trodo tozola 시다 내께야다 조제 니바 찾아 요로이나 고야 깨치르던 최고도.
And so just like that, I mentioned before that, the grains, like the barley or the the wheat grain in the bag, on a whole food shelf, they have the potential, to grow into the sprout, right? But there has to be, they have to meet with the conditions, right? They have to be planted in the ground. They have to be given water, fertilizer, and so forth. So all these things that has to be given. Without that, even if it has the potential, just by sitting on the shelf there, they will not be able to sprout.
제대로 누시 조지 채워서마야 다 내가 채요서 말다. 드니 സമയം 말아 총자고래 제고요.
So when we say be content and have less desire, doesn't mean that you should not work or should not do any business like that. Of course, you have to work and you have to do your business.
제장 간도 간다 소소직 자시자 대만점나 아니 샘투로다 대마제스라고다.
But what we're saying is that we expect more than what we have, and then because of that, then our mind gets disturbed. That's what we're saying not to do.
제당에 단데 셰바 가서 주시면 되면 니나라야 추타 추체가 되면나 다 민니가다나 지가 다 제가 만들고 섬데 코 섬라 감달나들 샘플나들 지가 제가 하셔서 코데 가와 검들 뒤소로 오시로.
It's like saying, in this cup, you say that's in this cup there's a half cup of water, and then there can be two ways of looking at it. One person says, "Oh, there's only half," and then other person can then they get disappointed, and the other person, "Oh, at least there's a half. Oh, there is a half," like that. So the way you think about it can make difference.
근데 주도 지질라테 빼대는 간도 배워놨다 dom지요래. 반항간도 지대와. 산조서 나까지 사골 땡이 버사땡이지요. 그다 코도 야스마이 사이 무지도. 디 안에 샘플랑이 그랬어. 다 나도 르다 다 가로 고구다 르다 다 여러 힐좀 통하고 사드 센로스 고 사사야라 콘놈이 사사게더라. 사사야라 고 샘플지가 세나치가 라야지. 대에는 가시.
So there is a saying in Tibetan, I don't know whether the Westerns have the same concept or not, and about the earthworms. The earthworms, they eat earth, right? Is that right? Do they eat earth? Yeah, they eat earth, right? So even if there's a huge mountain of earth, they worry that they're going to run out of those earth.
그러나 그 힐좀 통하다. 그냥 르다 르야치 인디마 코드만 탄거 탕도 통하다. 나 이게 맞는 내 랩타샤스. 다 돌아서 샘플랑 그랬어.
So he he thinks that that he has eaten all these, the people, other worms and all this have eaten the earth and it has become flat, and then thinking that it worries that thinking that the earth is going to be used up and they will not have any more to eat.
다 제가 가도 미사되다 다 샘체서 되고 세나 가드나 세나 흉 세나 짱짱 제대로.
So maybe I don't think the Westerners have that concept, right? Because you are not laughing.
양아도 배워로 소치래.
In Tibetan, we think ourselves, oh, that's so funny, the earthworm, and we'll think like that, that it's going to, run out of the earth.
양아도 미사되 세나 고미라 배. 다 대상 로 주마도까지 대신에 로 겜바도 지여를 잘라간가 야 사대지 펜토를 펜도서 컴바제나 장자죠 고 세나기 포페제메나 펜토를 섬네 그래도 고 세나 콤대로.
And then also people are stingy or miserliness, right? Because of miserliness, people who grow older, they get more of this, keeping things, accumulating the things in their house. And so, if you have something, I think this will be useful for some time, and then you keep that. And then and then there's a saying that even if you find a small piece of stick, on the road, you'll pick it up and say, I should keep this. Maybe I can make a fire from this later. And even if you find a small piece of brick, or stone, on the road, you pick it up and keep, at home, saying, "Oh, I can build something with this later." And so you keep on accumulating like that all the time.
Ima ngazo sera dewe kala ya ani ta trawa chiga pala ngema koro ta pene tsuyo ani maamine do ta gego chana ani ta pala de ta trawa de geshi de nyamdo tsu le der ta kodo nyamdo de kambachina kona kambachina sha ani kala do ganga ta kona ga pu trawa ro geshi ra ta ko getu chi so ni ko te yo.
And so, especially, when we grow older, we have that concept more. The younger people, they don't care. Like you said, then as you grow older, and you have that kind of mind wanting to keep things. So that's like because of the miserliness. So there's a story related with that. There was a Geshe in Sera, and his father came to live with him, and also he came out of the Kaonlersa Paladi. And so he came, they escaped, from Tibet together, right? The father and the Geshe. So the Geshe had disciples, who will serve him, right? For the Geshe, and then the disciples, who will cook for the Geshe, and they will also cook for the father.
Gombal Korando, that Tawaso Tawala, Tangani Bando, Hamgoni Bando, Jidatoja, Palachata, Kidoda. Runo, Dante, Sanichi, Tawasawa and the Pentore, Neochi Pentor, and Kine, Chatan Konang Yanto Luxage.
This father, every day, he goes to circumambulate the monastery or the stupa. And on the way, whatever, the rags, rag like the piece of, old clothes, from the robes of the monks, whatever the upper garment or the shawls and the lower garment, whatever piece of the robes, that he find, he will collect them all, thinking that, oh, maybe there will be some new monk coming and they will need these robes. So he will, and then he keeps like accumulating. Every time he find those, and then he will, stuff them under his bed.
제자가 아니 다와를 나타난다 아니 기시디가 코랑가 빠 기투솔라야 빨래기 칸바 따마서 치고야 자산 선바가 야 다와치냐 그 자산 수루살 어떤 내용이에요.
So then the Geshe will ask his disciples to clean his father's the room, and especially clean up all those rags from his from under the bed, and they will clean up. And then next month again they will see that many of pieces of cloth there under there again. So every month they clean, and they still find him always collecting, keeping them there.
제가 나도 미세다 고샘 당가서 고 세나라 고다데 펜토리 토토서 세나 고텐 주더다.
So like human beings' nature, right? Thinking because of being accustomed to the miserliness, always keep on thinking, think of keeping the things, collecting them all the time.
제가 족시에서 되면 다 되는 거예요.
So that's what happens, when we don't have the contentment.
Okay. Anyway, like that. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me understand this. I worked my whole life helping people that were disabled. I'm retired. I sold my house. I made a lot of money. I plan to go on trips. I shouldn't have those desires to go to Yosemite or to go to Europe or go to Bhutan or so what?
No, you can go. It's okay. It's fun.
Because everybody that's older,
yeah, you have to go now.
Is not a miser. And there's a lot of people that have psychological problems that make them be misers.
Yeah.
It's called hoarding. Whatever they have, they want to keep and they get more of it. But, I sold a big house. I gave away a lot. So, I don't think everybody that gets older does this.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
want to set this straight on Westerners. We don't all do that. And yet I give $100 a month to help people, what they
That's
need.
good.
But
that's good. That's very good. That's very good. That's very useful. That's very good.
I just wanted to clear it up a little bit. So that all Westerners aren't hoarders. And we work hard and we want to go on trips. And I have in my will that you're going to get a good part of it. So I don't know. I just want to.
No, you can go, yeah. Go. I'm not saying don't go, okay? in things where you are hardworking, enjoy that. This is the main things. Otherwise, no worry. Whatever your hard work, enjoy that.
So everybody on this Zoom that's working hard, I'm sure putting some money away so they can,
Yeah, they can do anyway.
so
I'm
they
not,
can have desires to go places.
yeah, you can go. It's go. It will not say don't go. You go. You say I'm going to that to see things, learn things. Also, also you can rejoice. I'm very lucky. I'm able to go there. I have the money to go there. You can rejoice. They're more happy that. Okay. You use that. Use.
Because of my karma, I was able to merit.
This is my karma to thank you more previous life to very generosity. Now I have that. Now I'm used to. I'm do more generosity. I'm do more things.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Okay.
Khensur das chija das lab den lab du lana similar point.
Ale ang kani kalang du.
Chija das sama den maresa mois.
Ale le.
Me go sama den maresa.
Ale the ngela de thama lang ma de. Chija kang ma de. Shidani mi tenre.
No, Geshe said, he meant like, people who are not, trained like ourselves, then we do that, Of course, not everybody does it. People have different levels. Some people, they hold the things, some they don't, but it doesn't mean that everybody does it, So, but, if we don't have that contentment, then we do it more,
제 장아 양랑도 배나 소소 배나 빼줘도 왜냐. 다 저로 뭘 도와셔야만 더 깔리슈 잡줘로 와. 제가 그 대나 이거 벌써 당고 여러분.
And so, yeah, so if you have worked hard, to earn that money and you can spend it, then you deserve it. You can do it, whatever, you want to do it, And, but there's many different ways you can use the money that we have. And we have to use it in a wise way, so that it can be helpful for ourselves and helpful for others. So what you're doing is great, so you're doing it, to help others, to help yourself. That's good.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, I'm not saying also everyone that like some our nature, mind. Even you go to my room, the Lord thinks, I never used, just I keep here. Last time, I just checked, Deborah asked me there's some ropes to someone can make the mask to give it. I just checked that I have so many ropes, People give me one, then I just put that. People give me one, I just put that. It's a big suitcase. I keep now I just only two sides. I just keep only two sides. That was a Geshe, are you sure you don't want this? No, I don't want. If there's big suitcase. Because people give, just include myself, one person give, just keep that. This is also sometimes, the Westerns have also, it's not Westerns for everyone, Like example, if someone give me this, right? Someone give me that. They think, Geshe, I like that. Then I keep that. Then I give another person. I just call me. Then next they come. They check. Is my one is still Geshe? I keep it. If not that, they feel unhappy. Geshe doesn't keep. This is also one of our students. He told me. He gave the Geshe Tsuga and something. I don't remember whatever. He gives something. Geshe doesn't keep. He keep 1-2 days in the room. Then he cannot keep all the things the students give. Right? If you keep everything that room become full, then he keep a couple of days. Then he give someone. Then the student come next time. He checked. It's Geshe keep or whatever he give. He doesn't find that. There's not anymore that. Then he feel very bad. Oh, maybe Geshe doesn't like. This is my very special one. I give him that. He give. Then he found after Geshe give it. Then also Geshe one day teaching like generosity or don't touch it. Then he really understand. Oh yeah, like if we keep everything what we find, then our house become full. Like that. Therefore, even I myself, I have so many monks robes. Even I didn't use some very big, some very too short. Then last year I give everything for the Devra too. She give somewhere. Therefore, everyone like our mind thinks, just keep that. If we never use, maybe you guys also check, you close it. Maybe you buy something. Maybe you don't check out your how you say. What do you call this?
Tag.
Tied. We have a lot of that, right? Like we go to, people go to the, tigers, not tigers, I say, marshals, then calls, the malls, people go to malls, they check, oh, this 50% off, just buy. 50% off, just buy. Then everyone, it's not just, then buy, then just go home, we just leave there, we don't use. Our just mind think do more, but we don't need like that. It's like that way, okay? Is clear your question?
Yeah, you answered it. Not to grasp, not to grasp
Not to grasp.
after things that you really don't.
Example, if you really want to go to truth, if there's some obstacle, you feel very, like uncomfortable and unhappy. It's not like do that. It's I got a chance I can go. If there's some obstacles, not necessary. You keep like in the balance. How you say?
Balanced, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can put together a trip in a year or so. We can go over to Tibet with you.
Okay, anyway. Okay, now we stop. It's talk too much. Okay, thank you everyone. Try to read this part a little bit. If you're really, your mind already trained or not, okay? Okay?
Saji perke shukshin me tok tram re rappling shin yi de gyen pa di sangye jing du ming te uwag ye drokun nam dag jing la chur pa shug je tun lame kutse rap tin jing nam ka trin le chok chur ge pa dang lo sang ten pe dren me sa sun gi dro hui mun sel tak tu ne gyur chig Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. From my two collections, vast is space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the Snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion, to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Mahayana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Fresh precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Make say wait chen rezik, dream in bei wang po jam pel yang, gang chen ke pei tsu gen Tsongkhapa, lo sang dra pei Jabla Solade. Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Damchula.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Damchula.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Damchula.
Thank you. Thank you, Jangchub. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
The calendar then, no announcements. No, today at 4 o'clock, Tara Puja, and then on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, Guru Puja. So. See ya.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you,
Have a good day.
Enjoy the weather.
Enjoy the weather, a little bit walking around.
Yeah.
Thank you.